Meenakshi Amman Temple is a historic Hindu temple located on the southern bank of the Vaigai River in the temple city of Madurai, Tamil Nadu, India. It is dedicated to Parvati, known as Meenakshi, and her consort, Shiva, here named Sundareswarar. The temple forms the heart and lifeline of the 2,500-year-old city of Madurai and is a significant symbol for the Tamil people, mentioned since antiquity in Tamil literature, though the present structure was built between 1623 and 1655 CE. It houses 14 gopurams, ranging from 45-50 m in height. The tallest is the southern tower, 51.9 meters high, and two golden sculptured vimanas, the shrines over the garbhagrihas of the main deities. The temple attracts 15,000 visitors a day, around 25,000 on Fridays, and receives an annual revenue of 60 million. There are an estimated 33,000 sculptures in the temple. It was on the list of top 30 nominees for the new 7 Wonders of the World. The annual 10-day Meenakshi Tirukalyanam festival, celebrated during April and May, attracts 1 million visitors. Legend: Meenakshi is an avatar of the Hindu goddess Parvati, the consort of Shiva, one of the few Hindu female deities to have a major temple devoted to her. The name Meenakshi means fish-head and is derived from the words Meena meaning fish and also known as to the first pound eye meaning eyes. The lady goddess Meenakshi is the principal deity of the temple, not Sundareswarar, unlike most Shiva temples in South India where Shiva is the principal deity. According to Hindu legend, in order to answer the prayers of the second Pandya king Malayodwaja Pandya and his wife Kanchanamali, Parvati appeared out of the holy fire of the Putra Kameshti Yana performed by the king. According to another legend, the goddess herself gave notice to Kanchanamali in one of her previous births that Kanchanamali would have the privilege of mothering the goddess. The girl who came out of the holy fire had 3 breasts. A voice from the heavens told the king not to worry about the abnormality and added that the 3rd breast would vanish as soon as the girl met her future husband. The happy king named the girl Tiru-aalavaai, and as the heir to the throne, Tiru-aalavaai was trained carefully in all the 64 sastras, the fields of science. As the time came for Tiru-aalavaai's coronation, she had to wage war in 3 worlds encompassing 8 directions. After conquering Brahma's abode, Satyaloka, Vishnu's abode, Vaikuntha, and Devas abode Amaravati, she advanced to Shiva's abode Kailasha. She very easily defeated the Bhutaganas and Nandi, the celestial bull of Shiva, and headed to attack and conquer Shiva. The moment she looked at Shiva, she was unable to fight and bowed her head down due to shyness, and the 3rd breast vanished immediately. Tiru-aalavaai realized that Shiva was her destined husband. She also realized that she was the incarnation of Parvati. Both Shiva and Tiru-aalavaai returned to Madurai and the king arranged the coronation ceremony of his daughter, followed by her marriage with Shiva. The marriage was to be the biggest event on earth, with the whole earth gathering near Madurai. Vishnu, the brother of Meenakshi, prepared to travel from his holy abode at Vaikuntha to preside over the marriage. Due to a divine play, he was tricked by the Deva, Indra, and was delayed on the way. After the marriage, the pair ruled over Madurai for a long time and then assumed divine forms as Sundareswarar and Meenakshi, the presiding deities of the temple. Following the tradition, every evening, before closing the temple, a ritual procession led by drummers and a brass ensemble carries the image of Sundareswarar to Meenakshi's bedroom to consummate the union, to be taken back the next morning in dawn. The marriage is celebrated annually as Shivaratri Revisa in Madurai. During the period of Nayaka rule in Madurai, the ruler Thirumalai Nayaka linked the festival as her Kartha Revisa and the Meenakshi wedding ceremony. History: the Meenakshi Temple is believed to have been founded by Indra while he was on a pilgrimage to atone for his misdeeds. He felt his burden lifting as he neared the Swayambhu Lingam of Madurai. He ascribed this miracle to the lingam and constructed the temple to enshrine it. Indra worshipped Shiva, who caused golden lotuses to appear in the nearby pool. Tamil literature speaks of the temple over the last 2 millennia. Thurgnanasambandha, the famous Hindu saint of Saiva philosophy, mentioned this temple as early as the 7th century, and described the deity as Aalavaai Ravan. The temple is believed to have been sacked by the infamous Muslim invader Malik Kafur in 1310 and all the ancient elements were destroyed. The initiative to rebuild the structure was taken by first Nayak king of Madurai, Visayanatha Nayak under the supervision of Aryanatha Mudaliya, the prime minister of the Nayak dynasty and the founder of the polygar system. The original design by Vishwanatha Nayak in 1560 was substantially expanded to the current structure during the reign of Tirumalai Nayak. He took considerable interest in erecting many complexes inside the temple. His major contributions are the Vasantha Mandapam for celebrating Vasanthotsava and Kailakundu Mandapam. The corridors of the temple tank and Meenakshi Nayaka Mandapam were built by Rani Manjamal. Peter, the collector of Madurai in 1812, got nickname Peter Pandian, a unregistered trademark as he respected and treated people of all faiths equally. He donated a set of golden stirrups studded with diamonds and red stones to the temple. Goddess Meenakshi is believed to have saved Peter from a fatal incident. He also wished that after his death he should be buried in a position that would enable his eyes to face the temple. The temple, architecture. The temple is the geographic and ritual center of the ancient city of Madurai and one of the largest temple complexes in Tamil Nadu. The temple complex is divided into a number of concentric quadrangular enclosures contained by high masonry walls. It is one of the few temples in Tamil Nadu to have 4 entrances facing 4 directions. Vishwanath Nayaka allegedly redesigned the city of Madurai in accordance with the principles laid down by Shilpa Shastras relevant to urban planning. The city was laid out in the shape of square with a series of concentric streets culminating from the temple. These squares continue to retain their traditional names, Audi, Chattirai, Avani Mola and Marsi streets, corresponding to Tamil month names. Ancient Tamil classics mention that the temple was the center of the city and the streets happened to be radiating out like lotus and its petals. The temple prakarams and streets accommodate an elaborate festival calendar in which dramatic processions circumambulate the shrines at varying distances from the center. The vehicles used in processions are progressively more massive the further they travel from the center. The complex is in around 45 acres. Gopurams. The temple is surrounded by gopurams. There are 10 gopuram, the tallest of which, the famous Southern Tower, rises to over 170 ft and was built in 1559. The oldest gopuram is the eastern one, built by Maravarman Sundara Pandian during 1216 to 1238. Each gopuram is a multi-storied structure, covered with thousands of stone figures of animals, gods and demons painted in bright hues. The outer gopuram presents steeply pyramidal tower encrusted with plaster figures, while the inner gopuram serves as the entrance to the inner enclosure of Sundareswarar Shrine. Shrines. The central shrine of Meenakshi Amman Temple and her consort Sundareswarar are surrounded by 3 enclosures and each of these are protected by 4 minor towers at the 4 points of the compass, the outer tower growing larger and reaching higher to the corresponding inner one. The Meenakshi shrine has the emerald-hued black stone image of Meenakshi. The Sundareswarar shrine lies at the center of the complex, suggesting that the ritual dominance of the goddess developed later. Both the Meenakshi and Sundareswarar shrines have gold-plated vimanas. The golden top can be seen from a great distance in the west through the apertures of 2 successive towers. The area covered by the shrine of Sundareswarar is exactly 1/4 of the area of the temple and that of Meenakshi is 1/4 that of Sundareswarar. The tall sculpture of Ganesh carved of single stone located outside the Sundareswarar shrine in the path from Meenakshi shrine is called the Mukurani Vinaka. A large measure of rice measuring 3 kurani is shaped into a big ball of sacrifice and hence the Ganesh is called Mukurani Vinaka. This deity is believed to be found during a 17th century excavation process to dig the Mariamman Temple tank. Temple tank and surrounding portico. The sacred temple tank Porchamarai is 165 ft by 120 ft in size. According to legend, Shiva promised a stalk that no fish or other marine life would grow here and thus no marine animals are found in the lake. In the Tamil legends, the lake is supposed to judge the worth of a new piece of literature. Authors place their works here and the poorly written works are supposed to sink and the scholastic ones are supposed to float. Tiru-aalavaai by Tiru-aalavaai was one such work. Only a fraction of 17th and 18th century paintings of Nyack period survives, and one such portion is found in the small portico on the western side of the tank. It depicts the marriage of Sundareswarar and Meenakshi attended by Vaigai River and Rani Manjamal. The painting is executed on a vivid red background, with delicate black line work and large areas of white, green and ochre. The celestial couple is seated inside an architectural frame with a flowering tree in the background. Halls, the corridor surrounding the sanctum the Meenakshi is called Kailakundu Mandapam. The space was once used to keep green parrots that were trained to utter the name of Meenakshi. There are 2 large cages full of squawking green parrots. The Kambatadi Mandapam with its seated Nandi has various manifestations of Shiva carved and also contains the famous marriage of Meenakshi sculpture. Sculptures of Shiva and Kali trying to outdance one another are pelted with balls of ghee by devotees. A golden flag staff with 32 sections symbolizes the human backbone and is surrounded by various gods, including Durga and Siddha. The Puffer Mandapam constructed by Tirumala Nayak contains large number of sculptures. It is situated opposite to the east gopuram. The Ashta-Shakthi Mandapam is the first hall in the entrance of Meenakshi's shrine tower near to East Tower. Ashta indicates 8 and Shakthi refers to goddess. The hall has statues of 8 goddesses. The gopurams can be viewed from this hall. The passage was named for 8 forms of goddess Shakthi carved on its pillars. Other sculptures and paintings depict the Tiru-aalavaai idol. The sculptures of heroes of Mahabharata, the Pancha Pandavas, can be seen in the Pancha Pandava Mandapam. The Viravasanthuraya Mandapam is a large hall with huge corridors. To the south of this hall is the Kalyana Mandapam. To the south of the pillared hall, is where the marriage of Shiva and Parvati is celebrated every year during the Shivarai festival in mid-April. The golden images of Meenakshi and Sundareswarar are carried into the 16th century Unjal Mandapam and placed on the swing every Friday at 5:30 p.m. The shrine has a 3-storied gopuram guarded by 2 stern dwarapalakas and supported by golden, rectangular columns that bear lotus markings. Along the perimeter of the chamber, granite panels of the divine couple are present. The hall is situated in the western bank of the temple tank. The Mudali Pillai Mandapam or Irachu Mandapam is a wide and long hall built by Muthu Pillai during 1613. On the pillars of the halls, there are fine sculptures depicting the story of Shiva taking the form of Bhikshadana to teach the sages a lesson. The Manayakkarasi Mandapam is a newly built hall situated opposite to the marriage halls and bears the name of Sindhi queen, Manayakkarasi, who contributed to Saivism and Tamil language. To the south of Manayakkarasi Mandapam lies the Savaikara Mandapam, a hall built by Maradi brothers in 1795. The Negra Mandapam lies opposite to Sundareswarar shrine was built by Achiraya, the minister of Rani Manjamal in 1635. The Kolu Mandapam is a hall for displaying dolls during the Navaratri festival celebrated during September/October. This hall is situated in the second corridor of the Meenakshi shrine at the western side. Hall of 1,000 Pillars. The Meenakshi Nayaka Mandapam has 2 rows of pillars carved with images of Yali, commonly used as the symbol of Nayak power. It is situated to the north of Sundareswarar Flagstaff Hall. The 1,000-pillar hall contains 985 carved pillars. The hall was built by Aryanatha Mudalia in 1569 and blends engineering skill and artistic vision. Aryanatha Mudalia was Prime Minister and General of Visayanatha Nayak, the first Nayaka of Madurai. He was also the founder of Palagar system, the quasi-feudal organization of the country dividing it into multiple palayams or small provinces in which each palayam was ruled by a palayakra or a petty chief. At the entrance of the hall is the statue of Aryanatha Mudalia seated on a horseback, flanking one side of the entrance to the temple. The statue is periodically garlanded by worshippers. Each pillar in the hall is a carved monument of the Dravidian sculpture. The more prominent among the carved figures are those of Rati, Karthikeya, Ganesha, Shiva as a wandering mendicant and endless number of Yalis. There is a temple art museum in the hall where icons, photographs, drawings, and other exhibits of the 1200 years old history of the temple are displayed. Just outside this hall, towards the west, are the musical pillars. Each pillar, when struck, produces a different musical note. Religious significance of the temple. A distinct feature of Meenakshi in terms of iconography is the presence of parrot in her right hand. The parrot is generally associated with the Vaishnava Azhwar Saint Andal. Panchasapai refers to the 5 royal courts of Nataraja where he performed cosmic dance. The Tamil word veli means silver and umbalam means stage or altar. This massive Nataraja sculpture is enclosed in a huge silver altar and hence called veli umbalam. This is a special figure of Nataraja which usually differs from kolar bronzes. In the kolar images, Nataraja is shown dancing with his left leg raised, but this sculpture has the right leg raised. According to the Tiru-aalavaai Puranam, this is on the request of Raja Sakara Pandya, who was a sincere devotee of Shiva. He requested the deity to change his position, as he felt that keeping the same foot raised would put enormous strain and got a graceful acquiescence from the Divine Master. Rituals. Worship. There are close to 50 priests in the temple who perform the puja during festivals and on a daily basis. Like other Shiva temples of Tamil Nadu, the priests belong to Shiva to the Adishalavas, a Brahmin subcaste. The priests live in a closed area north of the temple. The temple has a 6-time puja calendar every day, each comprising 4 rituals namely Abhisheka, Alangaram, Naivethanam and Dvipa or Radhanai for both Meenakshi and Sundareswarar. The puja ceremonies are held amidst music with Nadhasaram and Tavil, religious instructions in the Vedas by priests and prostration by worshippers in front of the temple mast. The common practice is to worship Meenakshi before Sundareswarar. Margazhi ritual is prominent one for winning a perfect, godlike husband. It is Meenakshi's Enai Kapu festival. Aligned with the cardinal points, the street plans forms a giant mandala whose sacred properties are believed to be activated during the mass clockwise circumambulation of the central temple. Festivals. The most important festival associated with the temple is the Meenakshi Tirukalyanam that is celebrated in April every year. The wedding of the divine couple is regarded as a classic instance of South Indian female-dominated marriage, an arrangement referred as Madurai marriage. The male-dominated marriage is called Kadambara marriage, referring to Shiva's uncontested dominance, ritual and mythic, at the famous Shiva temple of Chidambaram. The marriage brings together rural and urban people, deities and mortals, Savas and Vaishnavas in order to celebrate Meenakshi as the royal monarch. During the 1-month period, there are a number of events including the Tirtha and the Tirtha. Major Hindu festivals like Navratri and Shivaratri are celebrated in the temple. Like most Shakti temples in Tamil Nadu, the Fridays during the Tamil months of Audi and Thai are celebrated in the temple by thousands of devotees. Avani Mola Utsavam is a 10-day festival mainly devoted to Sundareswarar describes his various Thiruvallayadal meaning Shiva's sacred games. Literary mention. Down the centuries, the temple has been a centre of education of Tamil culture, literature, art, music and dance. All 3 assemblies of Tamil language, the Tamil Sanjam, were held at Madurai. Tamil poets of different epochs participated in these assemblies and their composition is called Sanjam literature. During the 3rd Tamil Sanjam, the comparative merit of the poets was decided by letting the works float in the lotus tank of the temple. It was believed that a divine force would cause the work of superior merit to float on the surface while the inferior literary work would sink. Tivaram, the 7th-8th century Tamil canonical work on Shiva, are works by the 3 prominent Nayanars namely Appa, Sundara and Thirugna. The temple has been glorified by the hymns of Tivaram by all the 3 poets. Different hymns of Sambandar on the temple mention the Queen of Pandya Nadu, his desire to defeat Jains in debate, the miracles performed by him curing the king's fever, the Jains' provocation of Sambandar by burning his house and challenging him to debate, and Sambandar's eventual victory over them. A poem from the 3rd Tirumurai by Sambandar is under a. There are few poets in Tamil history who sang about goddess Parvati. The notable among them is Kumaragurudpara, a 17th-century Tamil poet, who composed Meenakshi Pillai Tamil on Meenakshi of this temple. King Shimalai Nayak's patronage of Kumaragurudpara has an important place in the history of Pillai Tamil. Kumaragurudpara visited a lot of temples, and when he visited this temple, he composed Meenakshi Pillai Tamil on Meenakshi. Legend has it that goddess appeared in the dreams of Nayak, directing him to arrange the recital of Kumaragurudpara before a learned assembly. The king made elaborate arrangements for the event. Meenakshi impersonated herself in the form of a small girl and enjoyed the recital. As Kumaragurudpara was explaining the 61st verse, the goddess appreciated by garlanding the poet with a string of pearls and disappeared. Notes. References. External links: Meenakshi Sundareswarar Temple layout on Madurai.com, Significance of Madurai Meenakshi Temple on HinduDevotionalBlog.com, Madurai Meenakshi Temple 360 view on Dinamala.com, Madurai Meenakshi Temple picture.